Okay, thank you. So, very good evening to all. Myself, Grilly Milton. I hope all are safe and healthy. So, today we are going to deal with how a student can secure a British degree with work-friendly schedule. So, we'll be getting a brief idea regarding what are the benefits for a student. At the same time, we'll be dealing with certain universities which considered main three important factors, that is like which are comfortable, the universities which are comfortable in the deposit ratio, secondly, regarding the scholarships and fees wise. So we'll be going through all these factors. And first of all, let's have a brief idea regarding what are the benefits students get while he takes UK as a destination. If you have any doubts in between, please feel free to put your comments or doubts in the chat box. At the end of the section, I'll be clearing the doubts. Okay. So, as we know, UK is a unique country, and this is a map of UK universities. And it is like a combination of England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. So, if we have a look at the universities, we can see that the majority of universities comes at the England area. There are few universities in the Wales. There are some in the Northern Ireland area, as well as there are few universities in the Scotland region. But majority under the England, we can see majority of universities comes under the England region, and we can see the living cost. While we consider UK, the two important figures which we need to keep in mind is the living cost in the inner London as well as outer London. In inner London, it's 11,385 pounds, and when it comes to outer London, it's 9,135 pounds. These two figures are very important to consider. It's not just shows what is the living expense in the particular region, but also while we consider the fund maintenance, because while we do the application process, an important factor is the fund maintenance. So fund maintenance amount is associated with the living expense. I make it clear because if a student wanted to do a graduation program, let's say it's a three-year program, and a fees for a 1 year, it's about like 14,000. And as you all know, normally for UK, a student need to put a deposit for getting the cash. That means a part of the fees amount of 1 year. It can be either £3,000, it can be a 50% of fees amount. That depends on the university. So let's say if 14,000 is a 1 year fees and student need to pay the deposit of 4,000, then the balance amount will be like 10,000 because he has already paid the 4,000 as a deposit. Balance for that particular year is 10,000. If we calculate the 10,000 plus, if it is, we need to consider the fact whether the university is in inner London or outer London. If it is like inner London, then the balance 10,000 need to be added with 11,385. Then it will be coming to 21,385. That is the maintenance amount the student need to maintain in its account for 28 days for UK student visa. Second category, the same thing applies here also. If it is like outer London, the normally if it is a fees is like 14,000 and student is a particular university is asking to make a deposit of 4,000, then the balance amount is like 10,000. The balance amount need to be added with the what is the living expense of outer London. The living expense of outer London is 9,135 pounds. So it will be coming like 19,135. It's the fund maintenance of a student in that particular, if you want to study in that particular university. This is how the living expense and the fund maintenance is connected. So while we consider the UK applications or UK process, these two figures are very important to consider. So just make a note that if it is inner London, we should be thorough with the living expense that it is 11,385. And if it is like outer London, then it will be like 9,135. I hope it's clear. Then we'll go to next section. Now we have a look why a student need to take UK as a study destination. So we'll have a look what are the benefits a student gets. First thing is internationally recognized university. As we all know, almost all the universities in UK are internationally recognized either for the employment or higher studies. Secondly, it's a practical way because in UK, the more importance is given to intelligence rather than memorizing. So students find it very comfortable to learn the system which they are following in UK. Second thing is quality education because QAA, Quality Assurance Agency, is an independent body in UK that regularly monitors or assess the educational standard of all the universities in the country. So all the universities very particular in maintaining their standard. Third thing is, as we know, the work while studying. If a student is there in UK either for his master's or a bachelor's program, is eligible to work 20 hours per week. It helps not only to gain income, but at the same time, he can also gain experience as well. And in UK, it is not a tougher part to get a part-time job because there will be always an extended support from the universities which they get because the dean who is the head of the department will be putting all their job vacancies which they get to the university is in the notice board, and they will be helping them preparing the CV and getting the interview skills. At the same time, there are many government agencies. Job Center Plus is one of the agencies through which easily a student can get a part-time in a country like UK. The third thing is health benefits for students. As an international student, you can access to the UK medical treatment. Medical treatment in the sense NHS is the National Health Service, which is its health provider or the medical provider throughout the country. So it's not only the students, if he in masters, if he is doing the masters, he can take the spouse or partner or dependent children, all will be eligible for the free health benefits. Okay. Uh, is any problem with the audio? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So it's a health benefit I was telling regarding the health benefit. So a student either doing is a master's or like graduation program is eligible for the health services under NHS. NHS means National Health Service, that is a service provider throughout the UK. So not only the students, if he is accompanied by the spouse, partner, dependent children, all are eligible for the free health benefit for free health benefit. And how it works out is, if while a student enter the country, he or she need to take the national insurance number, NI number. And once we go for the interview, we need to produce the NI number. And all the salary what a person gets during will be taxable. So as a student who is also a taxpayer will get the benefit what the government provide, as like he'll be getting the free health service facility. And if he, for the masters, he can be taking children, and children is also eligible for the free school service. So these are the benefits what the students get. Student discount facilities. Apart from that, we are having many student discounts also because students are provided with the rail card. As we know, the main mode of transport which are used is through rail, tram, and normally there are different buses. So thing is that when they get the discount rail card, once a student is registered with the university, they will be getting the uni ID. So with this university ID, they can access to all the free facilities regarding the rail, tram, tube, and buses. All the discounts student can avail, and indirectly it will also help the student because the possibility of getting a part-time job is more in the city center, and if he can make his accommodation somewhat interior, he can balance the expense as well. because the accommodation in the city center will be comparatively high, but getting a job is more easier in the city center. So getting this benefit, student can balance the expenditure as well. Next thing is work permit after study. Thing is that a student after completing its student period will be eligible for 2 years stay back options, and in the 2 year time they will be able to work full time, because in the student period it's only eligible to work 20 hours, but once in the post study visa will be able to work for 2 years in full time. And after 2 years, if he can get a job offer letter, because if you want to change from a student visa to a tier 2 general visa or a work permit visa, what need to be done is that the student need to get a job offer letter from a particular organization. And the second thing is that the annual income what the company gives should be like 20,800 per annum. If both the criteria are met, then a student can change his student visa to a try to general visa or a work permit visa. And when work permit visa is like a 2 year visa, in the same company itself, we can renew it after 2 years. And if we complete the period of 5 years, then he can file it for a PR process. But in UK, one thing we need to keep in mind, student period will not be counted for PR. Once you change your status, even the post-study will not be counted for PR. Only thing is that once you change your category from the student visa to a tier 2 general visa, that is a work permit visa, from day one onwards, 5 years will be considered as the period for the PR process. Again, the universities provide several scholarships for the students. Have seen some questions coming up. At the end of the session, I'll be clearing it all. Scholarships, there are several scholarships which are provided by the universities. One is called Excellence Scholarship, Merit Scholarship, Alumni Scholarship, Payment Early Bird Scholarship. Excellent scholarship means if a student has any extracurricular activities and if he is able to put forward before the university in, let's say, like 500 words, and it is pleasing to them, then the student will be eligible for the excellent scholarship. It will be like about £4,000, and he can deduct that amount from his tuition. Second is merit scholarship. Merit scholarship is purely based on the previous average marks received on the previous education. If it meet the criteria, then eligible for the merit scholarship. Third is alumni scholarship. Alumni scholarship means if student has done a bachelor's in same university, and if they are doing the master's in the same university itself, will be eligible for the alumni scholarship. Another is Payment Early Bird Scholarship. Payment Early Bird Scholarship means if a student makes a payment before the deadlines or the dates which is put forward by the university, then student will be eligible for the Payment Early Bird Scholarships. So other than that, there are many scholarships. These are the major few scholarships which are put forward. Next, so these are the general factors or general benefits what a student gets while they study in UK. I hope it's clear. Next, we are dealing with few universities, keeping in mind which is comfortable for the students in three factors. One is that deposit-wise, which is comfortable for the students, fees-wise, which are comfortable for the students, and third thing is easy availability of the scholarship. So considering these factors together, we had put forward certain universities. First is Hertfordshire University, Bedfordshire University, London South Bank University, St. Mary's University, as well as Glasgow Caledonian University. So these are the few universities. We'll have a discussion now. First thing is Hertfordshire University. Hertfordshire University is in Hertfordshire itself, and there are about 800 plus courses which is providing by the Hertfordshire University, and it has about like 11 business schools and almost all the streams like engineering, medicine, arts, science, everything is covered in Hertfordshire University. Now when we come to Bedfordshire University campus is in Luton. It is also a placement friendly university. And next is London South Bank University. London South Bank University is in London itself, very close to London city centre. And it also provides a very good support for the students. And we're having the St. Mary's University as well as Glasgow Caledonian University. Glasgow Caledonian University is having their branches in London as well as Glasgow. So let's have a look at what are the comparison between these universities. So this is a university comparison. First, we look at Hertfordshire University. As we know, the location, it is located in Hertfordshire itself. While a student take an admission in Hertfordshire University, fees for CAS, that means as you know in UK, for getting the CAS, the student need to make a minimum deposit. And deposit, it depends on the university. There are certain university which particularly states the amount. As Hertfordshire University says, it's 5,500 is the deposit amount it's required. It varies from university because when we come to Bedfordshire University, it asks for the 75% of 1 year fees. London South Bank University is asked for the 4,000 deposit. St. Mary's University asks for 3,000. And Glasgow Caledonian, it depends. Undergraduate is 3,500 and for postgraduate, it's 5,500. So actually, it varies according to the university. And Hertfordshire University, it's in Hertfordshire. Bedfordshire, it's in Luton. London South Bank University, it's in London itself. St. Mary's University, its campus is in London. And Glasgow Caledonian University is in London as well as Glasgow. And here is the IELTS requirement for all the universities. One thing we need to keep in mind, if a student has completed as grade 12 or intermediate and having 65 percentage and above in English, need not have to take any language test. Okay, because if a student doesn't have a 65 percentage, or if it is less than 65 percentage, need to take English language test. If they are taking IELTS, then it's the requirement for the Hertfordshire University is 6, and for post graduation it would be like 6.5. And scholarship, what they get from the university for Hertfordshire University is £1,000. And the course duration for undergraduate programs, it's like from 12 months to 3 years. And for graduate program, it's like 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months. And for Hertfordshire University, placement year is attached to it. Placement year in the sense there are certain courses, if you look at the university, we can find that it's a 3 year program or a 4 year with placement. We can see in the university website the course they offer, the duration will be like either 3 years, it's a normal program. If student wants, if they have a placement year along with it, majority of university in UK will be having a placement year along with that. So if a student want to opt for a placement year, the fees will be a little higher in the sense if the normal fees it's like a 14,000 or a 15,000 pound, then if they opt for a placement year, you need to pay additional about 1,500 or 1,400. Again, it depends on the university. So it's an optional facility which is given to the students. If they want, they can opt for the placement year. Next, when we come to the Bedfordshire University, again, it's 75% of first year fees. This is what the student need to pay for getting the CAS. IELTS, the same. It's for all the universities, what we have mentioned here. In order to do the graduate, it's 6. For the postgraduate, it's like 6.5. But keep in mind, if a student is having more than 65% in English in intermediate, this is applicable to both. If they are doing the bachelor's as well as master's, this is applicable. And the scholarship for Bedfordshire University is £2,000, and the course duration is same. And Bedfordshire University is also having the placement year. It's optional. If student wants, then they will be getting a 4 year. London South Bank University also, it's the CAS amount or the deposit amount, it's like 4,000, and the score is almost the same. And the scholarship is a bit high, it's 4,000 because the London South Bank University provides a more scholarship amount, that is 4,000. And the programs, is it audible now? Okay, thank you. Okay, so London South Bank University also having the most regarding the scholarship as providing £4,000, and the course duration is same for almost all the universities because it starts from 12 months to 3 year maximum, and also for the post graduations it's like a 12, 18, and 24 months. Okay. Next, we are having the St. Mary's University. St. Mary's University is in London, and the deposit amount required is £3,000. And here also we have the same IELTS requirement, and the scholarship amount is 3,000. The course duration is same, but placement here is not available for St. Mary's University. Next is Glasgow Caledonian University, having the campus in London as well as Glasgow, and normally the cash amount differs. For undergraduate program it's like 3,500, and postgraduate program it's like 5,500, and IELTS also it's same. And next the scholarship it's 3,000. And for the placement here, London campus they don't have the placement option, but for the Glasgow campus a place optional placement here is available along with the course. So this is the overview of the course, and we'll be concentrating because since we are having partner universities throughout the country, but we are more focusing on the universities which are more comfortable for the students in the area of choosing in the case of deposit, secondly in the cases of getting the scholarship, and in the cases of fees amount. So considering all these three factors, we are choosing certain universities will be more comfortable for the students. Next, we are moving to the application requirements. So what are the application requirements for a student? First thing is entry requirement. For bachelor students, for almost all the UK universities, need to have a 60% in their previous education. And language eligibility. Language eligibility means there are in UK, UKBA means UK Border Agency is the visa provider for the students actually. In the UK Border Agency, it clearly states that English requirement is there. It's a requirement along with the visa documents. But one thing is, if the student has more than 65% in his intermediate, need not have in English, need not have to do any English language test. But if it is not, then need to take an English language test. But again, it goes to the university. University can decide what all English language test is required. So according to the requirement of the university, the student can choose what all are applicable for the particular university. Next is 12 that we have already discussed, and maximum 3 year gap is acceptable for the bachelor students. When we move to the master's program, the overall it's saying that 60% is minimum. Language test is required. At the same time, the maximum 5 year gap is acceptable. But only thing is that the student need to provide proper justification or relevant justification. If he is working, need to provide the experience letter. So the proper justification need to be made for the gap. Next, regarding the language tests, we'll be having a doubt because apart from IELTS, which all tests are acceptable in UK? So normally here we have the IELTS indicator, TOEFL IBT home edition, Duolingo English test, and language CRT online test. There are certain universities which accept all these tests, but there are certain universities will be particular whether they'll be accepting only IELTS. There are certain universities will be accepting both IELTS as well as Duolingo. Again, it depends on the university what test is required. So IELTS integrated test means it is the IELTS test itself, but it will be on the online basis. Because as we know in this corona situation, it will be very difficult for the students to attend the IELTS test, and at the same time, almost all the centers, IELTS centers are closed. So universities have started accepting the IELTS indicator, which is an online test, and fees is all the same as the normal IELTS exam. And one important thing is the student will get the results in 3 to 5 working days. And IELTS indicator for the university normally accept is 6 with no components below 5.5. That is reading, writing, listening, speaking, everything should be above 5.5. Next thing is for postgraduate, it's 6.5 with no components below 5.5. If a student is taking TOEFL, then the overall score what is required is 80, and for the post-graduation level, it's 90. Duolingo is also acceptable by certain universities, and one important benefit is like the cost. The charges for taking the test is only $49. When we convert into rupees, it will be about approximately 4,000 rupees. So that much difference is having, and many universities are accepting Duolingo test nowadays. And the score which is required is 110, and for postgraduates, it's like 120. That is a Duolingo score which is acceptable. Next, language CRT online test that also a student can take. Only thing is that if university confirms that a particular language test is acceptable, and the score is like 110, and for the postgraduate level is 120. So these are the different language tests which can be taken if a student doesn't have 65% or above in plus two or intermediate level. I hope it's clear. Next, we have a comparison regarding the course of different universities, five universities which we are dealing right now. So when we look at London, South Bank University, having the engineering program, arts, business, medicine, law, tourism, almost, because in UK, almost all the programs will be covered. When we look at the Bedfordshire University, it also covers all the programs. Hertfordshire University covers all the streams. Glasgow Caledonian University covers all the streams. Apart from St. Mary's University, engineering program is not available. But apart from that, almost all the universities covers all the streams. And if you check individually, each university will be having more than 500 plus courses in bachelor's and master's. If we club together, majority courses we can find in the university, UK universities. So this is the process flow, how it works. First, we need to do a eligibility check. Second thing is that having a UCC plus Skype recording. This again depends on the university. Next, application need to be done for the student. And after that, we'll receive the conditional offer letter. Once a conditional offer letter is received, then need to make the deposit. Deposit again varies according to the university, because some universities ask for like a particular amount. There are university will ask for 50% of the fees amount, 75% of the first year fees amount. It depends on the university. So student has to make the deposit. After the deposit, then it will be lining for the CAS. CAS means it is the sponsorship. Without the CAS, we cannot apply for the visa. After that, a precast interview from the university. Again, it goes to the university whether interview should be done or not. That is the decision can be made by the university. After that, the student will receive the CAS. Once students receive the CAS letter, then can line up for the visa. So these are the process. Next, we need to know about the visa documents. So once we receive the CAS and line up, getting all the documents, next process is we need to line up for the visa. And these are the visa documents which we require. First, as we have discussed earlier, the CAS, it is the sponsorship letter that a student gets from the university, because without the CAS letter, a student cannot file for a visa. Secondly, a visa application form, a passport size photograph, English language scorecard. Again, it depends, because what the university suggests or what the university accept that particular scorecard. And tuberculosis test certificate, that UKVA will be mentioning a list of hospitals. From that particular hospital, the student can take the tuberculosis test. After that, the bank statement and declaration, because as we know, there is a fund maintenance. And as we have discussed earlier, how we calculate the fund maintenance, based on that, the maintenance should be there in the account, either student account or parent account for 28 days. And if it is student account, then student need to produce this statement. If it is parent's account, the statement is required. At the same time, need the sponsorship affidavit. This is also applicable if a student is below 18. The same is applicable for the student. So these are the visa document checklist. Next, an important factor regarding the fund maintenance is, first we need to the student need to provide the bank statement, and in UK it is important that 28 days the amount should be there in the student's account. As we have discussed earlier, I hope you know how the fund maintenance is calculated, because once the deposit amount, the university will be put forwarding their deposit amount. So once a student has paid the deposit amount, the balance amount plus what is the living expense, if it is inner London or outer London, we have to calculate accordingly and we'll be getting the maintenance amount. So once we get the maintenance amount, the 28 days, the amount should be there in the student's account, and there without any fee. And thing is that when we submit for the visa, it's for UK, it's very important that we take the latest statement, because if we are taking a statement above 15 days, the visa will get rejected. So always we should keep in mind maintenance is very important. The amount should not come down below the required, because it is always safer to put the amount like 100 or 200 pounds more, because of the exchange rate. Because of exchange rates, sometimes if it comes down, then it will affect the visa indirectly. And third thing is, the latest statement should be taken for submitting the visa, because if the statement is lesser older than 15 days, then there is a chance of visa getting rejected. So these are the things regarding the fund maintenance. Next, the refund is only possible in the cases of visa rejections, because if there are certain situations where students take admissions, and if they are not going for the visa process, from the deposit there is a chance of university deducting the amount. So the refunds will be payable in only situations where genuine visa rejection cases only will get the refund. So these are the areas which we are covered today. What are the benefits for the students regarding certain universities? And I think that there are some questions which has come forward. I'll clear it all. If you have any doubts regarding what I have discussed now, just put, I'll be clearing it all. There is a question, will early bird apply to all universities? Actually, depends on the university, because there are certain scholarships which are particular for certain universities. So again, it depends on the universities, because there are different scholarships which put forward by the universities, and it differs from the university to university. So scholarships, we can't say that this particular scholarship will be available for all the universities, is differ. And if you want to know apart from any particular, because it's asked for the journalism regarding a program, we put forward the details. Scholarships programs for the London School, what are the scholarship programs, and what is the scholarship amount, what a student will get. We'll put the details. Yeah, there's another question, that is master's English language is necessary. Yes, in UK for the master's program as well as bachelor's program, we need to have the English requirement is mandatory. But only, again, I'm repeating the same thing. The thing is that if a student has 65% of marks in English in his intermediate or grade 12, need not have to write any English language test. But if it is less than that, the student need to take the relevant test with the university suggest. We have come across certain English language tests, that is Duolingo, we have the TOEFL, IELTS indicator test. So according to the university, if a student is taking normal IELTS, it's more than enough, nothing more is enough. But other than that, if the student want to check any of the language requirements, the student can have a check at the university what is acceptable by the university. And for the masters also, the criteria is the intermediate or 12th percentage of English marks received the student got in the 12th grade. Yeah, there's a question. Any education requirements for spouse? Educational requirements, there's no education requirements for the spouse, which is accompanying. And the benefit is like the spouse can be work full time in UK, because since a student can work only 20 hours, but at the same time, spouse can work up to 38 hours per week. There are different courses which are available. There are different courses which is available, because in UK one university itself will be able to get like 300 to 400 courses are available. So almost all the stream pathway programs, undergraduate foundation program, almost all the programs are covered in UK. One another important factor is that when we choose a master's program, it's always important to choose the stream which is equivalent to what we have studied graduation level. That is more important, because when they consider the application process, if a student is choosing a stream which is equivalent, if he has done a bachelor's in accountancy, and if you wanted to do the masters in the same stream, that is more likely to get the admission process, make the admission process more easier. Yes, another question is that Aman has asked if he has achieved 70% marks in English in intermediate without IELTS, is it possible to take admission? Yes, you are right, because if a student has got, because normal criteria is 65 percentage and above. So during his intermediate exam. So if a student gets 65 percentage and above in his intermediate exam, he need not have to take the IELTS test. But only thing is that if it is less than that, then the student need to check with the university what all English test is acceptable by the university. If it having 70 percentage, need not have to worry about the IELTS. I think almost all the questions are clear. Is there anything more? Okay, top ranking university means always the marks in your previous qualifications, percentage of marks is depends on the university actually. If you want to look for the top ranking university, you have to make the assessment whether it meets the criteria. That means the percentage of marks required. Average level university, the minimum marks requirement is 60%. But again, it depends on the university. If you are going to higher level, the percentage of universities will also be higher. So accordingly, we need to provide. Okay, if a student going for a bank loan, and if it get loan gets delayed, can be request time from university, because in UK, as universities are concerned, in the first process itself, while we want to get a CAS is the first step. What we need to, because without the CAS we can't file for the visa. So in order to get the CAS, we need to make a deposit. Deposit means it depends on the university. Either it can be a 3,000 or 4,000 or 50 percentage of the fees amount. Again, it depends on the university. This is the first step, because if we are not able to make an amount at that point of time, then it will be indirectly affecting our admissions. Because once we make the deposit only, the CAS will be released. When the CAS is released only, we can submit for the visa. So if it is any delay, it will be indirectly, because UK visas are indirect, UK admissions are indirectly connected with the UK border agency. So it's always better to arrange all the amount prior to that and take an admission. MBBS program means, again in UK also we doesn't have a fixed amount. What is the fees? We can't say that this 13,000 or 14,000, because actually it varies from the university to university. And we almost all the universities are having the MBA program as well as MBBS program. So thing is that we'll let you know regarding the fee structures. Again, regarding the accommodation scholarship, scholarships also it's not general throughout the UK. There are certain universities which put forward for the accommodation scholarship. There are certain universities put forward for early bird scholarship, and it depends, varies accordingly. So in general, we can say that the accommodation scholarship is there throughout the university, but again, it depends on the university. We need to check on what particular university the student is looking for does have the accommodation scholarship. Again comes the question, in the final year of bachelor's, one can fill form for the UK masters because we need to have the marks obtained because minimum 60% is a requirement in the previous education. So for doing the masters, we need to have that whether the student has met the criteria of getting the 60%. So we need to, once we need to clear the bachelor's and we can move forward. A student who is pursuing also can apply for masters, but only thing is that again another important criteria is that we need to produce the previous percentage of marks. So in order to produce the previous percentage of marks, we need to have it in hand. Duration, we need to cross check with what university you are looking for, because in UK there are certain university which has a 4-year program, there are university which has a 3-year program, and there are universities which are having a normal 3-year plus an optional 1-year placement. So accordingly it varies from universities, the duration of the courses. And there are certain MBA program in UK which can be ended in 1 year, or there are some MBA programs which can end it in 1.5 years. So it depends again according to the university. Again, to what university you are looking for, which university you are looking for, you want to know the details. If we put forward, we'll be able to assist you, because you can just mail the details or give us a call regarding a particular program. We can assist you in what all scholarships are available, or regarding the program, what you want to know regarding specifically. Because today we have discussed regarding the 5 universities, and we are having many universities because almost all the areas in UK we are covered, and we are having the partner universities. So if you have anything regarding that, just put forward to us and we'll give a solution regarding it. Even if it is regarding a fees, if you could specify any particular university, then we'll be able to give the options. So I hope, how much money we need to carry for whole course. Again, the how much money we should carry in the sense for taking an admission means 1 year. Initially, we require the 1 year fees amount. The initially we have to have the deposit amount. After the deposit, the second step is we need to have the maintenance amount. What all amount we required for the maintenance. So these two factors only we need to consider at the beginning stage. After that, university will be providing the installments. In installment, we need to pay the fees amount. And maintenance amount, as I told earlier, it again depends on the university fees plus the living expense in that particular, if it is inner London or outer London. Any more questions? Some scholarships need degree as well as 1 to 2 year experience. Without experience, do we have okay? The scholarship means again there are different scholarships. It doesn't state that you need a degree for, because there are bachelor's programs which provide us with the scholarships. So there are different types of scholarships which are eligible for the bachelor's course as well as master's course. Because if we are looking for the bachelor's course, the student obviously will not be having any experiences or degree, but even though is eligible for the scholarships. So it's not a mandatory that a student need to have a degree or a 1 year experience to get the scholarship. Masters, if you're looking for a master's, means again it depends on if it is like an excellence. If you are looking for an excellence scholarship, it depends upon the extracurricular activities what we had. Second thing is, if you're looking for a merit scholarship, it again the university will put forward if the student is having like 80 to 90% in his previous examination, then he will be eligible for the excellence scholarship. Similarly, like the merit scholarship. Uh, Tell me how someone can join without TOEFL for bachelors. Yeah, thing is that I have told earlier. I told as I have told earlier, because if a person want to join for a course, if the student is having like 65 percentage and above in a previous intermediate, need not have to take any test. But second thing is that the university will be put forwarding certain language test. It can be either TOEFL, it can be IELTS indicator, it can be Duolingo. So there are different courses which put forward by the university. So thing is that if he doesn't have TOEFL, okay, it's fine. But thing is that he can look for the another English language test which is acceptable by the university. It can take either Duolingo or the IELTS integrator, normal IELTS, anything is acceptable. Okay, so I think almost all the doubts are clear. So if you have any doubts regarding the sections, just have a ring to us, or you can mail us all the doubts. We'll be clarifying and putting all the solutions. And thank you.